Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 2 of Kale's podcast, and with me today I have Macky Langsam. We went to the same high school, and now he's a freshman running back at Wagner College in New York. Macky, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Of
Looking
course.
forward to it.
Yeah, I remember sophomore year of football, and you came in as a freshman, and we had you, or you were really like on our sidelines, pretty much doing like mixtapes of like our football games. How long have you been like doing like videography, and like how did that translate like a passion of yours?
Yeah, so the videography stuff, I've been doing for a long time now. I'd say I really started it in elementary school when I was like me and my boys would just make little videos on our iPads and all that stuff. And I actually grew up with one of those like old film cameras that my parents used. So I'd shoot videos on that all the time, and then that just translated like the older I got, the more I got into it. And then once I um once I got into high school, I was like, I saw there were a couple people starting to make mixtapes in the area, Montgomery County. Obviously, I'm sure you remember 2K Forbes. He was a big name. And and I was like, wow, I do this on the side, but I really want to start getting my name out there more. So I reached out to Coach Lomax. I'm like, can I get on the sideline? He said, yeah, and started shooting videos for the school for Rockville.
Yeah. And you were you doing it just for fun? Were you doing it for like money? Like not even for like our games, but like in general. Would you like get paid for doing mixtapes and things like that?
Yeah, so at the start, it was really just fun because I remember, I was a freshman, I came in, nobody knew who I was, right? And, as most freshmen are, and I remember I posted the first video and it blew up. At least for me at the time, it got like I think it got like almost 10,000 views. It got like 1,000 likes. I just remember like being like, because I had like, no followers before that. No one really knew who I was. So that was really cool. And from there, I was like, I just want to be able to make videos for the team, just seeing how much people liked it. Um, and then, another thing that I started to realize was game attendance started going up when my videos would get posted. Like we'd have more fans at the games. I remember I'd post like, oh, I'm popping out to the game, and people would hit me in the DMs all the time saying they're pulling up, they saw my video, stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. And then, eventually I started to realize that I could kind of monetize myself and make money off of this. So towards the end of the season in 2019, I started doing like personal mixtapes, and I was charging $10, $15 here and there to make a mixtape. So it was, as a freshman, that's going from this just being something I did in my house with my friends or around Rockville and stuff, realizing I could, make money with this and build connections and all that. So for the most part, it was little money, but at the same time, I just love doing it. So it was never really about that.
Yeah. And I remember like those mixtapes, like you would post, all the guys in the locker room were like so excited to like watch, see if we were like in that, if we made the cut or things like that, or if we had like a nice touchdown in that game. We would like want to go back and see if like we could see it ourselves, like in your mixtapes. And then your Instagram tag is Lil Moosh. Like, where did that nickname or like where did that come from?
Yeah, so I actually my dad gave me the nickname Moose when I was born. And I just kind of went by it like for my whole childhood. And then I think when I made an Instagram caption, it was like people I think it was the era when like Lil Pump started to come up and everyone just started putting Lil in their handle, right? And I was like, how can I like I'm like I had no idea what to do at first because I didn't want to just do like Macky Langsam. I don't know because I don't know. I was in the eighth grade or some shit when I was making an
Yeah,
Instagram or sixth grade, something like that. So I'm like, all right, I guess that's the nickname I've gone by my whole childhood. So let's throw that in there. And then the Lil just came with it. I am trying to right now it's Lil underscore Moose underscore, and I'm trying to get just like plain Lil Moose but right
uh,
now somebody has that handle already, so I'm trying to see if I can
yeah.
yeah.
Pay him a little extra side cash, trying to change
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I hit them in the DMs. We'll see if we get a response.
Yeah. And then obviously, so your freshman year, you're doing your mixtapes and everything for the football team. and you didn't play football your freshman year. What made you joined your sophomore year? What made you start playing after that, or why did you not play your freshman year?
Yeah, well, so I joined late my freshman season. So basically, um, just to go into like the backstory a little bit, like I grew up playing baseball. Um, I never like I played flag football when I was a kid, but I never played like any like real football as a child. And I remember just being on the sidelines shooting the videos. I'm like, part of me wants to be the one playing because I'm capturing all these moments. I'm like, this is fun. Like this looks like it's a good time. And I needed something like, physical in my life. Like I loved lifting and stuff. I still love lifting, but that part of me wanted something like wanted to be part of like a team or something. So it was actually JP. I'm sure you remember JP. Who doesn't remember
Yeah,
JP? JP, he's like, dude, you should come out for the team. So I came out for the team my halfway through my freshman year. I was on JV. I was like, I think sixth string running back, and like they had me at safety. So you remember my sophomore year, I played a little
yeah,
safety too. So I'm just running around there, didn't really know what I was doing. I remember my first practice, I tackled Dougie, I tackled Daniel, like and that was, because obviously he was a sophomore on JV. He was like the biggest guy on our JV roster, and I remember everyone was like because I didn't know what I was doing. I just like ran in there and just hit him as hard as I could. So then I'm like, this is kind of fun. So then it just kind of took off from there, and then obviously COVID and everything happened. So that's really where I think I started to be like, all right, I really want to do this because we had so much time off. I'm like, all right, well, I had fun my freshman year doing it. Let's like really lock into this and see what I
yeah.
can do. So
I mean, yeah, and then I know obviously your sophomore year, my junior year, we had COVID, so we had that shortened season. But I mean, you coming in late freshman year and now playing Division I football, like most guys, take 10, 11 years playing football, try to do that, it took you only a short amount of time. What drove you, or what was your passion really to work hard during those last 3 years?
but yeah, so I think starting, let's see, from the beginning, like I was saying, COVID was a weird time because me and Josh and Logan and Tin and all them, we were like kind of just we all had like these big dreams and goals, you know what I mean? As I feel like a lot of young high school football players have. I remember Josh wanted to go to like UNC and everyone we all wanted to go play Division I football. So I remember we had no class on Wednesdays during online school. So we'd go to RM or Rockville every single Wednesday and we would just throw the ball around, work on drills. We didn't know what we were doing, but we were just out there having fun. And I remember just like I just like really wanted to like play in college. You know what I mean? It was never for a specific reason because for me like my goal wasn't to like, okay, I want a full ride Division I scholarship to go play football. For me, I didn't even know if I wanted to go to school at first. You know what I mean? Because I had all these other goals with the video stuff. So I think once I um once I came back my junior year, I remember I had spent all that time over COVID like getting bigger and stronger. And I remember I had worked my way up. I was one of the strongest skill guys on the team, and I'm like I'm really doing this, you know what I mean? At first it was like, oh, I hope to be playing one day, but once I realized I actually had the opportunity, I'm like, all right, well, maybe I should really really go at this. And I remember, my junior year, obviously I played a lot more linebacker than running back if you remember, because Eric
Yeah,
was our number one. Um, but yeah, just like something in me was like, all right, well, I'm here on the field now. I'm playing linebacker, but I want to play running back. I want to get out there and I want to score touchdowns. So from there on, it was just working, lifting. Eventually started working with a running back coach and all that stuff. And it was like, all right, well, I've made it this far. Let's just see how far I can take it, kind of thing.
yeah. And I remember like at least I didn't really like get to know you that well, like during your first 2 years there, but like my senior year, your junior year, I remember even during COVID, like we would go do like our speed training together,
Yeah.
like my dad's a track coach and we would like text each other, make sure we were down for a time. You would come out and we'd get faster and things like that. And I remember like every time I'd see you, it looked like you put on more weight every time. You're like, oh, I'm 5 pounds heavier than I was last week. I was like, dang, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then obviously, like you said, Eric was like our star running back, and
Hmm.
you're playing more linebacker. And then obviously, you're like that end toward junior year, you had that like that bad knee injury. Did
Yep.
you feel like that injury? Did you feel like you would stop playing football after that, or did you feel like that was over, or did you know you're going to come back and play?
I think when I tore my knee, it was like it was really it came at a weird time. Obviously, it was the end of the season, which I think, you kind of if you're gonna tear a knee, I mean, that's a better time to tear it than, at the beginning of the season or whatever. But I just remember like more just being like I knew how much time I had. So it was never really like I'm done playing football, but more of a I just remember from the start it was like it took me a while to figure out what was wrong with it because like I knew I tore something, but I didn't know if it was ACL, I didn't know if it was a MCL. It ended up being an MCL, but I just remember it took like a good 2 weeks to like get everything diagnosed. So I'm like I'm just waiting. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. How long am I going to be out for? And then, once things started to heal, I'm like, and stuff felt more stable. I'm like, all right, well, I have 6 months till I got to be back on the field. So it was never like a thought of being done playing football, but more just like trying to stay locked in and trust the process as much as I could because it was a long recovery and I definitely at times made that recovery longer because I was trying to get back too fast. But yeah, for the most part I was just trying to stay focused, you know what I mean, not get too ahead of myself with
Yeah,
that recovery.
and obviously like that really paid off because I I missed it, but from what I heard, like your senior year was what were you second in the state in rushing yards, right? And you missed a game too.
Yeah, so I don't know, I can't remember exactly what the highest I climbed up to in the rankings were. I mean, I finished top 10 in almost every category. But yeah, senior year was great. I mean, it started off wild because I had COVID week one. So I missed, and that was against one of the worst teams in our conference or division or whatever. It was Kennedy. So,
Yeah.
um, you know, I'm like, all right, well, there goes my first week. But then things just started rolling. I mean, I had like a 200-yard rushing game here, and then like against Springbrook, I rushed for like 300, and I'm like, all right, well, now I see my name up on the leaderboards there, and it was like I'm like, I'm really doing this. And it felt, part of it felt surreal, but the other part of it just felt, it ended up becoming normal. It felt normal. You know what I mean? When I rushed for less than 100 yards a game, like against Damascus, I think I only rushed for like 80 something. And I'm like, all right, well, it felt that felt wrong. You know what I mean? Because I was so used to rushing for as many I was rushing for. And I mean, obviously we had one of the best in my mind, we had one of the best O lines in the state. Like I could
Oh
argue
yeah.
that to anybody. I mean, we have obviously he's gonna have a chance to start this year as a true or a sophomore, or a redshirt freshman at Morgan State, and um, so yeah, I think that offensive line was had a huge part in that. But yeah, senior season was fun, and it felt good to be able to do all that, especially coming out off of that knee injury my
Hmm.
junior year.
And then each week that you're getting all these yards, did you feel like that goal of becoming a Division I athlete? Did you feel like you're getting closer each week?
Um, I don't know because when I was playing my senior season, it was like I was really trying to focus on the moment because I'm like, all right, well, if I'm gonna get offers, they're gonna come, but I think they're probably not gonna come till after the season, just because during the season at a place like Rockville, you don't get that much exposure. That's just part of it. You know what I mean? Like if I
Yeah.
had put the senior year I did at Rockville at any other bigger public school in Montgomery County or any private school, it would probably look a lot different. But that's just the reality of it. I mean, at Rockville, like I'm sure, your senior year was pretty ridiculous. And you had
Yeah.
a pretty insane high school career. And obviously, you know, you had the Bucknell offer, but and who knows if you could have had more if you have COVID didn't happen and all that stuff. But coming out of Rockville, it's hard to get offers. We don't have a lot of exposure, so I think I was like, all right, well, I just tried to have as much patience as I could. But then even when the season ended, like it was still pretty dry. And I remember, how Coach Lomax has all these coaches come and talk to us, and I'm talking all these, D3 coaches and a couple D2 coaches, but I was never interested in that. You know what I mean? I didn't want to go play Division 3 football in the middle of Pennsylvania. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't in my interest. For me, it was really all or nothing. It was either I wanted to go play Division 1 football or I was good, just because that was my goal. And I, I didn't feel really like I didn't want to go, like I said, go to some small school. I want to go to a place where I'm going to have opportunity to grow and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly the same where I was my senior year. It was, play Division 1 football, get those offers, or I didn't have a second option.
Yeah,
I didn't apply for any college. It was October for us senior year. You had all these students applying for schools of where they wanted to go. They ED to like University of Maryland and all that thing. I did not apply to a single school. It was wait for that offer to come, or that was it.
exactly.
So yeah. And I mean, now that you are in Wagner, uh, how you like, how's the transition from high school to college football been for you?
Um, I'd say the transition's been good. Like at first, it's definitely. I remember texting you right when I got to camp. I was like, "Okay, oh bro, how did you learn this playbook?" Because when you get in there, they don't let you adjust. You know what I mean? They throw you in there at the speed that everyone else is at, and the guys that are going to succeed make it through. The guys that fall off, fall off. So, I just remember getting here and just being super focused. You know what I mean? I was outside after meetings sitting at the benches near our meeting rooms and stuff, just writing down plays and all that. And I remember at practice, I don't know if you were like this, but your first practice, you're going through all these periods, you're switching this and that, and it's like you're kind of just running around like you're a chicken with your head cut off, like you have no
Yeah.
idea what's going on. So I think it was definitely difficult at first because the speed is totally different. And I think for anybody that wants to go play any level of college football, it's gonna be nothing like you did in high school. Like it's a totally different game. Um, so the transition was definitely difficult, but then I started to adapt and adjust, and I became a lot closer with a lot of my coaches and teammates. So that definitely helps. Meeting people, obviously getting a good group of friends, that are all going through the same stuff as you. But once camp ended, by the end of camp, I was ready to go, and in the season, everything kind of just clicked.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, freshman year too, it's hard to adjust and everything. How did you like deal with that balance of football and school, plus your videography that you do as well?
Yeah, so it's really just about finding like time management. Time management is so important because, for a just regular student, you might be done with class at 2 o'clock and then you're done for the rest of the day. In my mind, 2 o'clock as a football player, that's really early in the day. 2 o'clock is early because you're you're there till 8, 9 o'clock at night. So it's like 2 o'clock is when you're getting out of class and football's just starting, practice is just starting. At least that's how we run it here at Wagner. Um, but I think just making sure you have your priorities straight as well because there is no room for distractions. You know what I mean? It's football, it's school, and then obviously for me, the videography stuff. So I think just trying to find time. I have an hour in between lift and class. I'm going to use that hour to really lock in or maybe even find time to rest. You know what I mean? Like you have an hour in between class and football practice, get a little nap in or lay down in your bed or just chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And obviously Wagner's like, how close is it to the city for you from Wagner?
It's really close. So it's just across the Hudson. We have a ferry. there's a Staten Island ferry that goes every 30 minutes for like all day and night, 24 hours. So it's like a 30-minute ferry ride. And then we have a shuttle that goes from Wagner to the ferry. Um, and that runs to like 2 in the morning. It's so
Yeah,
close. It's like we literally can you can get into the city. It's like 35, 40 minutes, which for obviously where we grew up, that's like going into DC.
yeah,
So it's really not bad at all, and there's so much to do in the city. So I go all the time, especially now that we're in the off season. Like I'm there every single weekend shooting videos and starting to meet people out there, make connections, build some clientele out in the city. So that's been really good as
yeah. That
well.
was my next question. Like, how have you felt like there's been more opportunities for you to like film out there?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Because where we grew up, DC is a very like more government and politics kind of stuff, but here in New York
hmm
City is so much more creative. So, I mean, I'm out in the city, meeting new people every single day. Like yesterday, was in I was in Soho and I met this photographer who just like we were shooting in the same spot and I just like went up to him and now we're cool. Like he texted me today and we're already like kind of connecting on stuff. So it's you can meet so many different people
yeah.
in the
And
city.
what's your major? I don't think I ever asked you,
So
or
I'm a
I didn't know.
Yeah, so I'm an arts administration major. It's just I wanted to go some sort of business route, but I feel like arts administration was good because I can get more of the creative side of the business aspect. So I'm taking, more management and art style classes rather than just like basic business classes, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, and also like living Wagner, your first semester went well, as you said. Are you excited for like the spring off season for football?
Yeah, I am excited. It's been good so far. I'm definitely getting stronger. I came back after winter break a little heavier than I wanted to be. I wanted to gain weight. I think I was like 190 coming back, and it was just I couldn't move the way I wanted to. So I'm back down to like 180 right now. I'm getting stronger. I'm feeling good. A little bit interesting, which is kind of a twist right now is I started having like this groin pain all of a sudden the other day and
hmm
it kept nagging at me so they sent me to like our team doctor and they think it might be a hernia which would suck because I'd need
Yeah,
surgery so I'm going on Monday to get a ultrasound and like I have a meeting with the surgeon on Thursday so they seem to think it's a hernia which would kind of throw off my entire spring. um but this is all brand new. I'm just trying to process that right now. But otherwise, besides that, I'm looking forward to it. The
yeah.
spring.
I hope. Hopefully, it's not. I mean, and then if it is, just take your time with that recovery because hernias could be huge, and you don't want to like rush to come back with it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, Yeah, but like, yeah, I remember like my spring season at Bucknell, like there were so many injuries and like the depth chart was like so low because everyone's like from the fall season, everyone's like waiting to get their surgeries, in like
Yep.
December and everything, and they're all like coming back with like I think we had like four guys my freshman year come back in like slings, and you're like you didn't even know the guy got hurt or something. Like he's
Hmm.
like, oh yeah, I tore my labrum in like week six. I'm like, when did that happen?
I
But
know
yeah,
exactly what you're talking about.
but yeah, you just don't want to like rush the injuries. Spring ball. I mean, spring ball is a good chance, like move up the depth chart when there's like no freshmen coming in, but at the same time, it's like you don't want to rush anything back. But
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It would suck, but I'd rather something like this to happen now rather than
yeah,
during the
exactly.
season. Um, but yeah, no, I completely get what you're saying about that, like just people popping up. You didn't because a lot of times they'll play through injuries that they need surgery on because there's like a torn labrum like you could a lot of people tear their labrums, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They live with it. So but I know exactly what you mean about just people coming back and spring is a little weird because obviously all the people that hit the portal after the fall and then you're only really bringing in early enrolls or JUCO guys right now. So I mean, for we have a pretty big roster here. We carry like 140 guys on this roster, but
Hmm.
um, right now we're down to almost probably below 100 or something like that, just because so many people are either graduated or in the portal or this or that. So it's a lot smaller. It definitely feels like a smaller team in the spring. Um, and then obviously you got your injured guys and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I hope you have a great season. Keep putting in that work on and off the field. And that's it for me today. Do you have any final words for the podcast, though?
Yeah, and I appreciate you having me on. Good luck with everything.